Hi, I'm Heidi Toby, Director of Social Work Programs at Therapist Development Center. If you're a first-time viewer and looking to pass your social work or MFT licensing exam, or just interested in topics relevant to clinical social work and psychotherapy, you've come to the right place. If you like it, be sure to subscribe for updates. You can also sign up for our complete LMSW, LCSW, and MFT exam prep programs by going to our website at therapistdevelopmentcenter.com or click on our logo. Today's topic, boundary violations. Have you ever wondered what to do when you unintentionally cross a boundary with a client? What steps need to be taken? What we must do to address this? Boundary crossings and violations are topics that could very well show up on your ASWB exam. So do you know how the ASWB expects you to answer these questions? That's what we'll be talking about today. Boundary crossings versus boundary violations. While it's very unlikely that the test will get this nuanced, we do find it helpful to keep these differences in mind. A boundary violation occurs when a social worker engages in a dual relationship with a client or colleague that's exploitive, manipulative, deceptive, or coercive. An example would be when a therapist engages in exploitive dual relationships with a client, such as sexual contact or exploitive business relationships that benefit the therapist. A boundary crossing, on the other hand, is not necessarily harmful and can actually be engaged in intentionally and therapeutically. A way to distinguish between the two is that boundary violations generally break the code of ethics, while boundary crossings do not inherently do so. While a boundary crossing could be unethical, they're not necessarily against the code of ethics. An example of a boundary crossing that would be intentional and therapeutically appropriate would be accepting a small termination gift from a client that's culturally significant, giving a supportive hug to a grieving client, or making a home visit to a homebound client. So how do we deal with boundary violations? What do we do when these occur? While we want to do everything we can to prevent boundary violations from happening, if they do occur, it's important we acknowledge this misstep and address the therapeutic issues. While it may feel easier to ignore it or wait for the client to bring it up, it's our responsibility to bring these violations up to our client and to create a space where we can explore the impact that it's had on them. Let's look at an ASWB practice question exploring how to respond to a boundary violation. A social worker leaves a voicemail for a client, reminding them of their upcoming appointment. In this voicemail, the social worker states their own name and the client's first name, but does not disclose the nature of the appointment. After hanging up, the social worker realizes that they called the wrong number. What is the primary responsibility of the social worker? A, to call back the wrong number and inform them of the mistake. B, to inform the client of the incident and process their reaction. C, to report themselves to their licensing board. D, to not disclose the incident to the client since no identifying information was shared. The correct answer to this question is B, to inform the client of what occurred and process their reaction. While A is something that could be done, it's not the primary responsibility of the social worker. The primary responsibility of the social worker is to their client. Similarly, C is something that the social worker could choose to do, but it's not their primary responsibility. D is incorrect because even though no identifying information was shared, it's still important for the social worker to inform the client of what happened and to create space for them to share their feelings surrounding this. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, if you're studying for your exam and looking for the best LMSW, LCSW, or MFT exam prep program, please visit our website at therapistdevelopmentcenter.com to sign up. With a 95% pass rate, we offer the best study system on the market to help you pass your exam with confidence. Here at TDC, we're with you until you pass.